Welcome to this week's edition of SKNIS Week in Review. I am your host, Kimberly Grant. This is a weekly program that highlights some of the top stories of the work of the government of St. Kitts and Nevis. Here are the top stories for November 16 to 22nd. Differently abled youth enjoy fun day at Family Park. Deputy Prime Minister Richards shares ingredients for continued success with remarkable teens, and Senior Minister Amelie welcomes nominees to the Minimum Wage Advisory Committee. "46 students from the Cotton Thomas Comprehensive School spent Wednesday morning, November 21st, at the New Road Family Park as the Department of Youth Empowerment hosted its third annual Fun Day for the differently abled. The activity is one of the events for the Youth Month 2018, which is celebrated annually in November. The positive engagement with the differently abled youth is reflected primarily in two priority goals outlined in the St. Kitts and Nevis Federal Youth Policy 2017 to 2020. These are human rights and gender equality, as well as Goal 3, social cohesion, belonging, and patriotism. Youth Officer in the Department of Youth Empowerment, Salika Kreki, organized the Fun Day. It was her second year as lead coordinator. She said that the event gives the students an opportunity to have a good time at the park with their friends. The youth officer added that the annual visit is often the only time many of the students actually go out and enjoy the facility. Ms. Kreki said that the activity sends a strong message to the general public.
Sometimes society stigmatizes these children as being children who we really cannot teach anything to, but from what I've learned last year from my interaction with them, these children are wonderful. They are full of chats, they're funny, they make me laugh. I always have a good time with them, and I love to be around them because I also learn from them.
Local soca artist Workers H.E. happened by the family park and was inspired by the wit and jovial nature of the children. He gave an impromptu performance which added an excitement of the day for the children. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Youth, the Honorable Sean Richards, left the 2018 class of the 25 most remarkable teens in St. Kitts and Nevis with 3 pieces of advice that he said will help them to reach their goals in life. While making opening remarks at the National Assembly on Thursday, November 15th at the award ceremony to honor the outstanding achievement of teenagers who excelled in various non-traditional fields, the Honorable Sean Richards shared the following.
Never stop following your passion. Passion is energy. Passion is the genesis of genius. Steve Jobs once said, "You have to be burning with an idea or a problem or a wrong that you want to right. If you're not passionate enough from the start, you'll never stick out."
The second advice shared by the Deputy Prime Minister was to
never cower to conformity. Your success in your respective areas of expertise will always be shaped by the courage of your convictions. The herd mentality is the killer of innovation. Followers are seldom remembered. Create your own think tank and never be afraid to think outside of the box.
Lastly, Minister Richards urged the young people to commit themselves to lifelong learning. Nominees of the Minimum Wage Advisory Committee met for the first time on Tuesday, November 13th, for a familiarization session as the formal process for deliberation on the matter begins. The committee is comprised of 30 nominees representing government, the private sector, and civil society. The formation is guided by the Labor Minimum Wage Act, Chapter 18.19, which makes provision for a consultative approach to be adopted when revisions to the minimum wage are being considered. Senior Minister and Minister of Labor, the Honorable Vance Emery, welcomed the nominees to the meeting that was held at the conference room of the St. Kitts and Nevis Chamber of Industry and Commerce.
This is a very important process, and I must commend all of the organizations and institutions represented and the nominees yourselves for your commitment and willingness to participate and make a contribution.
The minimum wage in St. Kitts and Nevis is set at $9 per hour or $360 per week. Senior Minister and Minister of Labour, the Honourable Vance Amory. Construction of the second cruise pier at Port Zante in St. Kitts is moving apace as it is expected to be completed in the third quarter of 2019, said Minister of Public Infrastructure, the Honourable Ian Patches-Liberd, while responding to a question at the Prime Minister's most recent press conference.
The construction works are on schedule, and as I said, we anticipate it would be completed in September of 2019, of course, barring any bad weather. So just last week, we carried out what we call an updated simulation of ships. The simulation to satisfy us in terms of the berthing of 3 Oasis-class ships, which are the largest ships afloat today.
On Tuesday, December 11, 2018, one such Oasis-class ship, MS Symphony of the Seas, owned and operated by Royal Caribbean International, will make its inaugural call to Port Zante, St. Kitts. Symphony of the Seas will leave Miami for St. Kitts, its first port of call, on an itinerary that includes St. Thomas, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and Nassau, Bahamas, and then back to Miami. The ship is able to accommodate 5,518 passengers at double occupancy, up to a maximum of 6,680 passengers, as well as a 2,200-person crew. Ajanil Brown of the Immaculate Conception Catholic School has been selected as the third prize winner in the Junior Division Florida Caribbean Cruise Association FCCA Foundation for the Caribbean 2018 Children's Essay Contest. As a result, she and her school are proud recipients of $1,000 each. Primary and secondary school students from all grades in FCCA partnership destinations, including the Caribbean, Latin America, South America, Central America, were invited to participate in this prestigious competition. The essay contest was conducted in 2 categories: Junior Division, children ages 12 and under, and Senior Division, children ages 13 to 16. Each student was required to submit one essay written in English, 500 words in length, on the topic, "What cultural aspect of my country should cruise passengers experience?" The essays were judged on content, subject, creativity, style, structure, and grammar. International Men's Day, which is observed annually on November 19, has been used by officials in St. Kitts to celebrate positive male figures in society, reflect on the contributions and sacrifices made by men, and highlight issues affecting the male community. To commemorate this special occasion, the Department of Gender Affairs in St. Kitts held its annual International Men's Day Award ceremony under the theme Positive Role Models at the Ocean Terrace Inn on November 19th. The men who were awarded for their positive impact on society were William Hodge for education, Dr. Jerome Thomas for agriculture, Augustus Sheffield for religion, Tyrone O'Loughlin for youth development and sports, Ward Phipps for creative and performing arts, and Mitchell Slater for media. Special awards were given to Michael Weintraub for his humanitarian efforts and Livingston Huggins for his work with the National Men's Council. Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris also presented a special award to Jefferson Freights, owner of Freight Supermarket in Molyneux, for his charitable contributions in the community. Minister of Gender Affairs, the Honorable Eugene Hamilton, stated that a positive role model is one who is genuine, confident, humble, successful, a good listener, and encourage the young men in society to aspire to be one.
While everyone will not be seen as a positive role model, we all have the capacity of being one. Today, you will hear the good work that your father, your son, your husband, your uncle, your nephew, your brother, your cousin, fiancé, or just your neighbor has done to improve the lives of those around you or around them.
Minister of Gender Affairs, the Honorable Eugene Hamilton. Prime Minister and Minister of National Security, the Honorable Timothy Harris, is assuring the public that the officers of the Regional Security System (RSS), who are presently working hand in hand with law enforcement in St. Kitts and Nevis, are operating within the confines of the laws of the Federation.
As part of their orientation when they come here, they are briefed appropriately about our laws. Not that our laws are so different from those in Antigua 15 minutes away, or from Dominica or St. Lucia. The legal framework is essentially the same. So they understand the law, but they are briefed and they are oriented properly.
The Prime Minister was at the time responding to a question posed during his most recent monthly press conference on Wednesday, November 14, surrounding some complaints and concerns about abuse of power. The Prime Minister added that where there are legitimate claims against officers from the RSS or any other law enforcement officers, those matters can be taken to the Office of Professional Standards within the Royal St. Christopher Police Force for action. Thank you for joining us on this week's episode. See you next time.